All right. Awesome. Awesome. So we are starting. My name is Davon Reese, CEO of Vestor, founder and CEO of Vestor. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Tonight we're going to talk about crowdfunding. This is our 4-week, well, not four, it's a 4-day, kind of like a challenge introduction to investing in hotels. And so tonight we're going to talk about crowdfunding. A lot of people don't realize that you can actually use crowdfunding as a way to invest. I've been talking about it for years. And so now I've created my own crowdfunding platform. And so for those who don't know what crowdfunding is the use of small amounts of capital pretty much coming together to invest. And has anybody ever heard of GoFundMe? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, so GoFundMe is a type of crowdfunding, except that's more donation based. And so what Vestor is more equity based. So you actually are contributing to something, but you're not donating, like you're actually getting ownership of a company, right? You're coming in investing as an LP. So that's what crowdfunding is. And what Vestor is, so what's Vestor? So we are a crowdfunding platform or Regulation CF. So we're designed specifically for commercial real estate projects, including hotels. And we are essentially an alternative way for you to invest in commercial real estate as well as to raise capital. And so one of the reasons why I came up with Vestor is because when I was going through my capital raising process, there weren't a lot of websites where you can raise capital, especially for hotels. Or you had to be an accredited investor, or you had to have like $100 million portfolio in real estate. And I wasn't either. I wasn't accredited. And before I invested in hotels or started buying hotels, I wasn't an accredited investor. So an accredited investor, for those who don't know, you have to have an income of 200,000 or more, or a net worth of $1 million or more, and that's excluding your primary residence. So that means excluding your house. But let's say you have like $1 million worth of investment properties, then you could be considered an accredited investor. But if you have, like, let's say if you have $1 million house, you're not an accredited. Let's say you have $1 million house and you have 900,000 in your bank account or something like that. By the SEC standard, you're not an accredited investor, because that $1.9 million as far as in net worth is really 900,000, because you have to exclude the residents. That's making sense to everybody? Oh, and what's the LP? That's a good question. All right. So LP is a limited partner. So you have what you call the general partner, and then you have a limited partner. So a general partner would be someone like myself or Winston, if you're looking to like buy a hotel, or like the sponsor or the active investor. That's typically the general partner. And so they're taking on a lot of the liabilities, taking on a lot of the risk. And then you have a limited partner who, they don't really have any voting rights. They don't have any say so, and they're not taking on as much risk. So think of this, their involvement in the deal is very limited. That's probably the best way to explain it. Very limited. They're really just contributing capital, and that's it. So then we have sponsors, and then sponsors can raise up to $5 million per deal, and that's through the Reg CF regulation. Yep. And so we're also a member of FINRA, which is the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. So we're not just like a website. Like, oh, Davon just put together this website. No, it's not a website. We had to go through an entire process of being regulated and going through a lot of compliance. I've been extremely vetted. A lot. This is it's more detailed than definitely buying a house or a hotel. So they get all up in my business, because I'm dealing with securities at the highest level. And so I had to go through, not only did I, but the company had to go through a lot of compliance. So and the reason why we have to go through a lot of compliance, because our job is to protect the investor, which is you. So if you decide to investor, how the process works, we actually do our due diligence on the deal, right? So Well, that probably would have been a good question for last night, because tonight we're not going to talk. Tonight we're just talking about crowdfunding. So that was a question for last night. So maybe next week we're going to have a another webinar on buying a hotel. So save that one. Yeah, let's say that one, because tonight we're just talking about crowdfunding. So we'll get back. Are you in our Facebook group, Vincent? Our Investor Academy of Black Hotel Investors Facebook group? Yeah, I would ask. Okay. All right. So as far as with Vestor, again, we're regulation CF. So how the process works when somebody decides to invest. So essentially what we're doing, we're connecting the deal sponsors to the investors. So let's say if you wanted to invest in a hotel and you want to invest as a limited partner and you're looking for a way to diversify your portfolio, then and you want to add hotel investments to your portfolio, then you would use Vestor. Because to invest directly into an asset, you would have to know a hotel owner. And if you don't know a hotel owner, where can you find a deal to invest? Right? Or unless you know like somebody who's invested in a hotel. So that's another way. Another thing that we have to do as an investor is, or as a company, is we have to vet the deal. So our job is we have to go through a lot of compliance. The sponsors or the funders will have to go through a lot of compliance to make sure that the deal, makes sense. Now, of course, you still have to do your own due diligence, but as a company, we have to make sure that it's in line. Basically, like if we won't put a deal on a platform if we know that this particular person won't be able to get approved by Marriott. That wouldn't be fair to you as an investor, and it wouldn't be fair to us or fair to the funder. Okay, all right. Okay, so we get you accepted. Okay, so investors, you can invest directly through the website. I pull up the website to kind of walk you through it a little bit. So you can invest directly through the website. We'll be having some deals coming up within this week. So you can invest directly through the website. You can use your ACH, you can wire, and any amounts up to 5,000, you can use your debit or credit card to actually invest. If you would like to raise capital, you can upload your pitch deck. We'll go through a little high level due diligence, and then we'll reach back out to you to see if it makes sense for the next steps. So this is the team. It's myself. I'm the CEO. As I mentioned last night, I started off as a front desk agent. Now I co-own 3 hotels across 2 different states. And I created that. So now I'm more in the, I guess, fintech space. And so my job is to help people like yourself who need to raise capital, or for folks who want to invest. Anand, he is our Chief Technology Officer. So he's over the technology. He oversees all the technology. If you want to learn, if you definitely stay connected with us, we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and that's our email address, and that's the website. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I'm going to pull up the website, and I'm just going to walk through it. Okay. I know. And while I'm doing this, do we have any questions about the process, about investing in crowdfunding? Okay, so I'll share my screen. Here we go. Okay, so can everybody see the screen? So how the process works when you do want to raise capital, if you want to invest, just click here to go to invest. This is pretty much the journey. We have some information, education. We have our podcast, which is on LinkedIn. We have a blog, which is so it's a lot of education. Any events, upcoming events that we have. If you have any questions, and then we'll click on this button. It'll take you to our current investment securities. which will have our upcoming deals, which should probably be on by the end of this week or next week. And just a little bit more about Vesta and our story. If you want to raise capital, so you're considered a funder, an investor, you're an investor, a funder, funder. So if you need to raise capital for your deal, you submit your deal. So basically input your information, upload your pitch deck. And again, just the flow if you want to raise. We restructured it the last time to make the flow easier. So thank you all for the feedback. And definitely, if you haven't done so already, please sign up for our news and updates. Get on our mailing list so that way you won't miss when it's time to invest in a deal. So I will close this out, and I am here for questions if you have any about investing in crowdfunding, what to look for if you need to invest in deals. This is more so for the limited partnership side. If you need to raise capital for your deals, again, this tonight is strictly about crowdfunding. Oh, goodness. No questions. So has anybody ever heard of crowdfunding before tonight? Yes. Okay. Okay, here we go. Some questions. All right. It says, is the platform specific to hotels? Let me pull it back up. Let me see. No, it is not. Okay, here we go. Let me share my screen so you can see all of the different categories. So no, you can raise capital or invest in hotels, daycares, land, retail, office, multifamily, senior living, and student housing. So no, we're about to have a retail deal coming up, and then we'll have some hotel development opportunities. So those are the different investment opportunities that you can invest in or raise capital for. Pretty much commercial real estate. We don't do residential. Golf course, well, because it's the land. So if you're buying capital for the land, and the thing is, you would have to have a really strong team to raise capital. Like, yeah, I would have to look at that. Like, you would have to have a really, 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 really strong team because golf courses are complicated and you have to understand the business and the land. And so I wouldn't want to put anything on there. And, of course, investing is risky and it is an opportunity to lose money. But, if it's something that you never, you don't have, and I'm not familiar with golf courses either. I know it can be complicated to operate and sometimes they don't really make any money. So I don't, yeah. Are there opportunities to invest in the platform itself? What do you mean? Like to invest investor, not the deals on investor, but to invest investor? Oh, okay. Uh, you missed our first round. Let's see. I just sent you a note. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm just going to these some good questions. Okay. So my question about raising capital. Okay, ask away. What's the best crowdfunding play? What do you mean by that? What's the best crowdfunding play? Okay. And then once a person decides to invest in a deal, how to update, share on the progress. That's a good question. So we are just a platform. So once you invest in a deal and the capital's been raised, then you're no longer on the platform. So you're going to be working with the sponsor directly. So that's a question that you should ask the sponsor. And we also tell the sponsors or the funders to let the investors know what's the communication process. So that way you'll know the progress of the deal. As a company investor, we won't share the progress of the deal. We'll just share progress of the actual raise. And then once the raise is closed, then you'll just communicate directly with the funder, and then they'll share the progress of the deal. Can you raise 100% of the equity via investor? If not, do we have limitations? So yes, you can raise 100% of the equity via investor. You can raise up to $5 million on investor. So if you, and the minimum is 250,000 to raise on investor. How does the LP receive dividends? That is a great question. The LP will receive dividends from the funder. So that is a great question to ask. Like, for example, Mike is having a deal and he's having a pitch on Thursday, and then Amina is pitching her deal next week. So that's a question that you would ask them and say, hey, as an LP, how am I going to receive my dividends? What is the time frame of when I receive my dividends? And is the anticipated ROI stated up front? Yes, we ask that they share the ROI, because you know, if you invest in something, that's one of the main things. What's going to be my return on investment? Are there any requirements that we need to fulfill in order to raise capital? Experience, for example, experience, or is it all based on the pitch deck and how well it's put together? So it's a combination of both. And how does the capital raise grow? That's a whole nother session. But just high level, there are requirements. You do need the right team. For example, and also you have to be under contract. So anybody who wants to raise capital investor, you have to be under contract. The PSA has to be signed. We're just not going to put a deal that you found on LoopNet and you like, okay, we about to raise. Nah, that's because we don't want to raise capital for a deal that, and you never know if a deal is going to go through. You never know if a deal is really going to be profitable, because of course, all investments are risky, but that's even more riskier. That's like somebody giving you, let's say you ask a family member for a down payment, assistance with down payment on your house, but you're not even under contract. Like, what they give you the money for, right? Another thing, so you do want to have, and also you want to be able to see, we want to be able to see if you'll be able to be guaranteed for the loan. If you can guarantee the loan, meaning if the bank will support you. And if you're in the hotel route, if a brand is going, like, I can tell if you're going to get approved for Marriott or Hilton. Hilton and Marriott are typically the hardest ones to get approved for. And so I can just tell if you're going to get approved. So if I know that you won't be able to get approved for Marriott, then you probably won't be on an investor, because that's definitely putting investors' funds at risk, because they're investing in something that won't make it to the closing table. So if I have a feeling it's not going to make it to the closing table, then it's not going to, like, y'all won't even see it. It's been a lot of deals that's been submitted and they haven't made it, because I'm like, this don't make any sense. This is not a part of our criteria. So, and yes, you do need to pitch. I would say having the right team, knowing what to ask for and how it's structured. So you do want to, get a deal that you can make money as well as your investors can make money. Assuming this is for common equity, not preferred. Yes, it's typically for common equity. That's correct. How to acquire the right team. What do you mean? And then, or any other part of the capital stack. What do you mean? No, this is just for LP. When you're raising capital for investor, this is just for the LP. Yeah, this is just for the LP. So if you're raising capital on investor, you're raising capital for the limited partnership opportunity, not general partner. So that's the only part of the capital stack. And folks who don't know what a capital stack is, so typically in any real estate deal, regardless if it's residential or commercial, you have your debt and you have equity. To simplify it, your debt is your mortgage, your equity is the down payment. It's just that simple. With commercial real estate, it gets a little bit more complicated, because you can add so many different layers of different types of equity. And so that was that question referred to any part of the stack. So the only part of the stack that investor would be a part of would be the limited partnership. How will the what support? And then what's our requirements? So the requirements would be that, again, you have to be under contract. you know, and in order for you to get under contract, you already had to prove that you can get the loan, that you can, you know, show proof of funds and get the loan guaranteed. Don't come to us at the last minute. So if you need to raise capital in 30 days, don't come to us. We'll need about at least 90 days to raise capital. Because the process takes a while, with just from the compliance part. And so that's really the requirements. Of course, you know, make sure you're not a terrorist or anything. We do a background check to make sure you're not a you know, committed money laundering, stuff like that. So we go through that. And then how to acquire the right team. The acquiring the right team, that's a question. Acquiring the right team would be, it depends on the deal. And I was talking about this yesterday, that I'm noticing a lot of people that they're trying to find partners, but they don't, either they're not bringing any value, or they don't know how to articulate. And so when people partner, regardless if it's a management company or lender or anybody, they're going to want to know how you're bringing value, because they know how to, because they can articulate how they can bring value. But if they feel as though they're the only person that is bringing value to the deal, then what they need you for. That's why I don't work with wholesalers and hotels, because I can just go around you and find a hotel. Like, I don't need you. So you don't bring any value to me to give you a cut of this deal. So that's how I look at a lot of things. If you can't bring any value to me, then why are we working? I mean, I'm just at a point in my career. It's like, I'll help, but it's like at a certain point, and that's how you have to think about it when it comes to building your team. Like, okay, if somebody, and then maybe that person is not a partnership, you're just bringing somebody that you have to pay. I mean, you have to bring in a consultant or an asset manager, right? That can help you build the team. Then we have a question: how to get copies of the recordings. Yeah, I sent out the recordings after the call. I mean, after the session. So you'll get a copy of the recording. So I just want to make sure that I answered any questions. And then how will the support us? Are you asking how will investors support you? Is that what you're asking, Vincent? Was that the question? That's what I said. I just want to make sure I got all the answers. It says, how will the support us? Oh, we missed register. Oh, okay. I can send a copy out if you missed last night's session. I'll just send out an email. So along with this recording, you'll get last night's recording. So last night recording, for those who missed it, it was just talking about how to get into hotel ownership and how to get into hotel investing. Yeah. So you'll get access to tonight's recording and last night recording. So no, these are some good questions. Yeah, so to people who just jumped in, tonight we've just been talking about crowdfunding and how you can invest in crowdfunding, or how you can raise capital using crowdfunding. So there's just more of an introduction, and we'll have more of a series. Okay, so it says, when we are looking to invest, are the financials and other due diligence docs on investor? Yes, that is a great question. So when you're looking to invest, are there financials and other due diligence docs on investor? Yes, you will get the pitch deck, you will get the pitch video, you'll get the offering documents, you'll get their pro forma. Yes, you'll get documents, so that way you can review and, you know, do your due diligence, share with your CPA, financial advisor, lawyer, all that good stuff. So yes, you will get that. We gather that information. That is a part of our compliance and our due diligence. So I'm like, okay, because we have a deal that's coming on, actually Mike's deal that's coming on. Like, I know that he owns a hotel, but we need in our due diligence that show that he have proof that he owns a hotel. So yes, I know for a fact that Mike owns a hotel, because we have the proof, and we have to do that from our compliance, because anybody can come on. We don't want anybody to come on our platform raising capital and y'all invest, because y'all basically trusting like, okay, well, Devon put her name on this, I'm gonna invest. So I don't want y'all coming after me and be, of course you're gonna do your due diligence, but I don't want y'all coming after me and be like, Devon, you didn't even do your homework on this person. Like, who is this person, right? So we have to show proof that, okay, either they're under contract, you know, if they need to raise capital to renovate, they actually own it, and they're not just raising capital for something that they don't own and they just like run off with your money. So you're signing a subscription agreement. So basically it's an exchange proving that you're going to sign a document to show that when you invest, you know, in exchange, you're going to get a position, you're going to get some equity in whatever project it is. And so you're supposed to get a return. These are some great questions. I'm excited. I love it when I get questions. It says, are you solidly standards necessary for the financial crowdfunding? Not necessarily. It may make it easier for people to read them. But again, if you're buying a hotel so let's say you're buying a hotel from someone who they don't use the USALI and you didn't standardize them, then of course we go through the financials and everything, but it helps if they're in some type of standard format. So it just makes it easier to invest. Okay, so with Mike's hotel investment, how much will it cost? So he's actually pitching that on Thursday because he's going to have different levels that he's going to share. So be tuned to tune in exactly how much the minimum investment will be. Because again, Vestor is just a platform. It's not, and I'll say this on Thursday, it's not my deal. These are someone else's deal. What we're doing as a platform, we're just connecting the investors. We're connecting you to the deal. So instead of you going, oh, I want to invest, where do I go? You just gonna go to Vestor and it's gonna be a marketplace. And yes, everyone tonight will get the recording from last night. So we got another question. Can you leverage the equity from a deal like you can any other personal investment? Can you leverage the equity from a deal? Okay, I need you to explain. Can you leverage the equity from a deal like you can? What do you mean? Like leveraging, like, okay, I have equity in this particular hotel and you need to show proof and then you leverage that to do something else? Okay. Yeah. I mean, we had our investors doing because it's still equity in the project. So yeah, I've had investors to be like, Devon, I need the actual calculation of my percentage of ownership. What is it? And I just calculate and give it to them. Okay. So what is USALI? My apologies. I did not explain that. Thank you for asking. USALI stands for the Uniform Systems of Accounting for the Lodging Industry. So what that is, which is a course in itself, which we'll probably talk about next week. So what that is basically a uniform systems of accounting. So it's like the line items are the different revenue minus the expenses with the profit, but it's how it's categorized. So for example, the hotels, they have so many different expenses. So for instance, let's say somebody has they did a marketing, they went on a marketing trip or something like that. That marketing trip to promote the hotel will go into the marketing expense section, according to USALI. That makes sense. So that's what USALI is. So USALI is just you would know USALI because it's standardized. And when you look at different financials, the more and more you start analyzing deals, you don't know it's USALI, but it's USALI. It's the different revenues, and it's revenues. It's typically structured the same way. It's occupancy, ADR, RevPAR, the number of rooms, number of occupied rooms, And then how many days in the year, how many days in a month. Yep, similar to GAAP and accounting. Yep. And then it's revenue with the different revenue line items. Then it's expenses with the different expenses line items, and then it's profit. Oh, thank you. The book How to Buy a Hotel. I don't talk too much about you, Sally, but it kind of gives you a. But thank you. And then so it breaks it down. I probably should add that section. That's a good point with you, Sally. I'll do that in my notes. So hopefully that helps. How can we acquire our first profitable hotel in 20? Oh goodness. Yeah. Were you on last night? The webinar, Vincent? Because tonight we just talking about crowdfunding. Because I talked about that a lot last night. And I got like a whole bunch, I got a course and everything. That'll break it down. Well, with crowdfunding, you would use crowdfunding to help with the equity raise. So you really wouldn't try to work on crowdfunding until you pretty much submitted a deal and you're trying to go through the process of going through compliance, and you know for a fact. So let's say you wouldn't go to crowdfunding or really raising capital until you go under contract, and then you're negotiating the PSA, which is the purchase sale agreement. And so while you're negotiating the purchase sale agreement, which is after you submit the offer or LOI, letter of intent, then you would, that's when you would start the crowdfunding process, because crowdfunding is raising capital. Oh, thanks, Darlene. And she said courses are significant, extremely helpful as well from the, thank you. So you're always my big cheerleader. I just love you. So that's when you would use crowdfunding. Think of crowdfunding as an extension of your marketing team to raise capital. That's when I would go with the crowdfunding. Like you don't want to wait to and typically people that use crowdfunding, either they're exhausted their resources, meaning they've done a lot of friends and family. You only can tap into your friends and family so many times. And then so they're like, okay, let me look at crowdfunding, or people they've never raised capital before. So when they want to go into the retail space. And so this is what you would be considered a retail investor, because you're not an institutional investor. So some companies are starting to do that. They're starting to go into the retail investment route. So hopefully that helps with the step-by-step. How do we treat key money during this crowdfunding process? So that's a good question. So what key money is, for those who don't know, typically what brands will do if you are developing or converting to a new brand, what they'll do is they'll give you, no, you're not giving me a hard time. You're just asking a question. There's nothing wrong with questions. Tonight we're just talking about crowdfunding. And then last night we talked more the step-by-step process last night. But how do you treat key money? And what key money is, for those who don't know, brands typically they essentially give you out money to help you on the equity side, and then you pay it off gradually they may take off some franchise fees or something like that. So they essentially give you money showing their commitment to the deal, but it helps you out. Some brands give some money up front, and then they give the money after you close, because they just don't want to give you all the money up front and then you don't close and then they out of money. Like, they're still a business. And so, Angel, I'll just use an example. So let's say you have to let's say you buy a hotel, or you're converting, because typically when you develop a hotel, you're looking at least $10 million. Okay. So let's just say conversion for numbers' sake to make it easier. So let's say you're converting a Holiday Inn Express to a Hampton Inn, and you're in a desirable area, and Hilton is like, okay, well, how about this? Let's switch it. So let's say it's a Hampton Inn converted to a Holiday Inn Express. IHG has a new program called Lift where they give you information. They want more minorities to become hotel owners. And so let's say IHG, because a part of their program, they do give you key money. So let's say you're converting a Hampton into a Holiday. And so the total purchase price, including a renovation or PIP, property improvement plan, let's say it's $5 million. I'm just making this up. And so with that equity, you're looking at 20%. Okay, give or take. Let's say 25%. Or we could just say 30%. Let's say 30% because it's a conversion. So now you need 1.5 million of equity. So let's say IHG gives you $200,000. So instead of you having to raise the entire 1.5, now you just need to raise 1.2. And you just let folks know that. So with crowdfunding, and it's not just with crowdfunding, anytime you raise capital, you want to disclose as much as possible, you know, and by law with Vesta, you have to disclose everything. So if somebody got a bankruptcy, you got to disclose it on the crowdfunding platforms. Personally, they don't have to do that because nobody's watching them. But with Vesta, if somebody got a bankruptcy and we let them, and we feel confident to let them on our platform, they have to disclose it to you all. So, and same thing with key money. If you do get key money from the deal, that's a part of your capital stat, you probably should disclose it to your investors because that's letting them know that the brand has skin in the game and you've done some work to bring the key money. Because sometimes brands don't offer key money, you have to ask. So that's how you would treat key money. It's just a part of the capital stack. So that lessens how much money you have to raise. Same thing if you get a grant. Same thing if you use CPACE, and CPACE is just basically a loan to help you with energy costs, and it's on your capital stack as equity. Again, that's complicated. What Angel is asking, he's talking about complicated capital stacks that you won't get into until you in your like second or third hotel. Typically, your first deal is going to be real simple. You just need to raise some capital, and that's it. How about management companies that want to? No, this is what I'm here for. It's a question. So how about management companies that want to contract for equity? Same thing as you would for, as you can see, Angel's a numbers guy. Typically, numbers people to ask questions like that, but he's really good at underwriting for those who need help, for folks who need help with underwriting deals. But as far as management companies that want to contract, who want to contract for equity in a deal, the same thing, you know, and a lot of times with management companies, they only get like a slither of equity. They may do like 1 or 2%, maybe 5%. Like they're not gonna put that much money in. So again, that's a part of your capital stack. So, you know, with 5% of $1 million is 50,000, right? So then you would what was I gonna say? You would treat that as such. So instead of raising, you know, $1 million, now since you got that 50,000 or whatever that percentage is from the management company, now you just need to raise 950,000. Does that make sense? So you can still use crowdfunding in conjunction with other equity raises. Do you work in conjunction with SBA loans, and do you have information on SBA loans? Did you get the workbook? Yes. Did you get the workbook? Because if you got the workbook, okay. I'll send the link. Let me send the link out. Hold on. Let me see. Let me get you the link. So, because you probably need to talk to, typically with SBA specialists, you need to talk to like a mortgage broker, because so you can't go to the SBA and say I want a loan. You have to go through a broker, right? So it's better. So in the workbook, I give you different I give you a couple lenders that you can talk to, or mortgage brokers. So let me just send you the link. That'd probably just be easier. Okay, that's the link to the workbook. So the workbook will have the lenders, and then they'll have an SBA personal financial statement. And so typically with SBA, because you're working with, and this is with any loan, they're going to want to know your personal balance sheet. So basically, which is your assets, the difference between your assets and liabilities, and then the difference would be your net worth, right? So they want to see how liquid you are. So assets, for those who don't know, assets would be, the equity in your home, anything in your retirement, anything in your stocks, anything in your mutual funds, all of that is considered an asset. Your cash that you have in your account, all of that's considered an asset. The cash value of your life insurance, all of that's considered an asset. A debt would be your mortgage, that would be your car, that would be any student loans or credit cards that you have, or any debts that you owe would can be considered a liability, or can be considered a liability. So those so you'll take the difference of that, and that'll be your net worth. If lenders can see that you have a good credit score, you have a strong balance sheet, means you're liquid and you don't have a lot of debt, then it'll make your life easier, because they feel like you know how to manage it and you could pay the loan. That's the biggest thing. Is lenders, they just want to know that you can pay the loan back. So if they see that you have a lot of liabilities, that makes them concerned, because they don't know if you're going to be able to pay back the loan. And so with SBA, that thing is with SBA, you're dealing with the government, so they're going to know all the investors in a particular deal. So depending on how, you let everybody know. Another question. It says, can a group LLC participate in crowdfunding? Nah. You definitely want to consult with an attorney. You can invest in crowdfunding as an LLC. You can do that. We just have to check. You just can't create an LLC just to invest in the crowdfunding. So if you have already having a group or an investment group and they invest, then yeah. Because sometimes some people, you go in, you like, I don't want to go in all by myself. So you go half, I go half. Let's just go in and invest. So you can do that. So yes, you can. You can invest as an LLC. It says all these recordings that we can get for all of these calls, or will we just be placed in the call? No, you'll get an email. Yeah, anybody who signed up, because this is free. The whole week is free. So tomorrow you'll get a recording. Tonight you'll get a recording. Last night you'll get a recording. All of it is all of it's free. So long as you signed up, you'll get access to the recordings. And they'll be placed in the course. So last night's was already placed in the course. Yeah. No, again, this is great. I'm glad you had a lot of questions. The purpose of this was just to answer any question that you all may have about Vestor or crowdfunding, or raising capital or invest. So here to answer any questions, because on Thursday when Mike pitch, he's just going to be pretty much talking about the deal. So, and then you'll just use Vestor as a vehicle to invest. Andrew, I don't know. Are you on IG? I don't know. I don't know if he's on Instagram. Not everybody's on Instagram. Okay, you got the course. You just saving it for your one-on-one. Hey, that's what some people do. Just go ahead and book it, because I'm closing off the booking at the end of the year. Yeah. Angel, I think we have some folks who want to contact you. They may need help. They may need your consulting services on underwriting. So I don't know if you want to, and I don't know if you want to put that information in the chat. It said, did you say that you cannot create an LLC just to invest on Vestor? Yeah, I mean, some people do. Actually, you can, because some people do create an LLC to invest, you can. It's just like, because we need to know everybody, because we need to know, because we have to check all the investors who invest through the LLC. That's why. So yes, you can create. Yes, you can create, because I know some people they use LLCs just to invest. So yes. So then it's on LinkedIn. So yes, so if you are on LinkedIn and you want to connect with Angel, his name, Angel Vasquez on LinkedIn. If you want to connect with him, he's not on Instagram. Okay. No, this is good. Well, we have a couple minutes left. If you have any questions, let me know. Like I said, tomorrow night will be Andre Williams. It's the same Zoom link. He's gonna talk about different wealth strategies, how you can maximize your retirement. He is a licensed financial advisor, so he's a little different. I know there's a lot of folks who on like social media and are not licensed. They're not licensed financial advisors, but he is. So he actually can give investment advice. So we got any holiday end deals in the pipeline? No, but we have a deal that's similar to a Holiday Inn. We have a Holiday Inn conversion. We don't have a Holiday Inn Express, but we do have a Holiday Inn conversion coming up. So the question is, what's my opinion on the full service resort? What do you mean? Angel can't tell which one is you. Huh? It says, what's your opinion on a full service resort? Okay, what do you mean? Do I mean uh do I mean to invest in or to stay in? Like what do you? And then it's another question, we'll be able to sit on the pitch. Absolutely. So the same Zoom link will be the same Zoom link for the pitch. That's on Thursday. Oh, they're saying multiple Angel Vasquez on LinkedIn. Oh, Angel, I'm gonna put your LinkedIn in the, wait a minute, let me find his profile. I can just find it. Wait a minute, let me find, okay. All right, I just put Angel Vasquez LinkedIn. I know he does consulting and underwriting consulting. So folks who need help with underwriting deals and analyzing deals, that's literally what he does. So, yep. So I just put Angel's LinkedIn profile in the link. Yes, to invest to stay in. Okay. So personally, if you want to invest in a full service resort, I would do it through a REIT. I wouldn't do it individually because it's very, very expensive. You're probably talking like 6-7 figures on the minimum invest to invest in a full service resort. If you go like directly to the owner or whoever, it's probably going to be, but if you invest through a REIT, then you can. There are a lot of expenses. So depending on your investment strategy, it's more of an equity play. And from a REIT play, it's just you're investing in REITs just to get dividends. So that's my opinion on full service resorts. To stay in, absolutely. Especially if I have a child. It's a whole bunch of stuff for the children to do. I stayed at like 3 or 4 resorts, full service resorts, especially if I'm on vacation. Absolutely. And because I love all inclusive. If I had to choose and I'm traveling internationally, I love saying that all inclusive. I wish they had more in the States because I can go to any type of restaurant. If I want to upgrade, that's fine. I said one hotel, you get paid extra, you get your little butler. I said, oh, this is cute. But yeah, I love to now to stay in absolutely all day, every day. I would stay in a full service. If I'm going to, because we're going to Belize next year. So stay tuned for those who want to go to Belize, but we're going to Belize next year. I was saying it all inclusive. And then we went to Turks and Caicos last year for an investment opportunity. We didn't stay, it was a full service resort, but it wasn't all inclusive. So I prefer all inclusive. Yeah. Oh, yeah. To stay, absolutely. Because I love it because it's the food. Now, people love to own all inclusives because it's easier to manage their food costs and people prepay. So a lot of brands, they're really getting into the all inclusive. Like Hyatt, they bought, was it Apple Vacations? I think, is that right, Angel? Was it they bought Apple something and they own a lot of all inclusives. It says I'm always on vacation, so I'm just checking. Yeah, absolutely. Any day, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Yes, you'll be able to sit on the pitch. So be pitch on Thursday and the pitch next week. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, this was good. Thank y'all. You will can't yep, can't wait. Yep. So save the date. People are already starting to sign up. So hopefully we'll have spots for folks. We even put the information out. So oh, I'm glad that you all learned a lot. Oh, I did. Yay. Okay. I get excited when people learn. That makes me feel good inside. Okay, great. With the prep and the oh my gosh, it's coming. The information for the trip is coming. It's coming. That's a whole separate call, y'all. We talk about crowdfunding. You got me talking about resorts. So anyway, so I will talk to you all tomorrow, same time, same link. Yes, you will get a recording for tonight and a recording from last night. And looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow and see you all on Thursday with Mike to talk about the pitch. All right. Talk soon. Bye-bye.